Frontline Updates, where we delve deep into military strategies and updates from conflict zones. Today, we're discussing the progress of the ongoing special military operation as of February 6, 2025. I'm your host, Sharifa Mohammed, MGT.
I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer. Use of advanced military assets. The briefing highlights the use of operational tactical aviation, strike drones, missile forces, and artillery by Russian forces to target Ukrainian military infrastructure and forces across multiple regions.
Welcome to Frontline Updates, your trusted source for the latest developments on security and defense operations involving military forces. I'm your host, and today we have an exclusive interview with Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, who will provide insights into the progress of the special military operation as of February 6, 2025. Colonel Oguntoye, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
Let's begin with an overall status update. What is the current situation on the ground as of February 6, 2025?
The armed forces of the Russian Federation continue to conduct a special military operation. Our forces are engaged in multiple sectors, executing planned operations to degrade enemy capabilities and improve our tactical positioning. Across various fronts, we have inflicted significant losses on the Ukrainian armed forces in terms of personnel, vehicles, and military assets. Additionally, we continue to disrupt their logistics and operational infrastructure.
Let's break it down by region. Starting with Kharkiv, what has been the progress of Russian forces there?
In the Kharkiv direction, our North Group of forces delivered decisive strikes against formations of two Ukrainian territorial defense brigades in the areas of Volchansk and Okremovka. Our operations resulted in the elimination of over 25 Ukrainian servicemen, the destruction of 4 vehicles, a field artillery gun, and an ammunition depot. These strikes have significantly weakened enemy defensive positions in the region.
What about the Western Front? I understand the Russian forces have made advancements there as well.
That's correct. The West Group of forces successfully improved tactical positions and engaged Ukrainian units, including mechanized, mountain assault, and National Guard brigades. Fighting in settlements like Peskanoy, Novaya Krebliakivka, and Zagrozovo resulted in Ukrainian losses exceeding 200 servicemen, along with the destruction of a tank, 5 combat armored vehicles, including 3 U.S.-made M113 armored personnel carriers, 7 cars, and 5 artillery pieces, 2 of which were Western-made. In addition, an electronic warfare station and 4 ammunition depots were destroyed.
That's a significant hit to Ukrainian forces. What developments can you share from the Southern Front?
In the south, Russian forces secured more advantageous positions while defeating Ukrainian mechanized and motorized infantry brigades. In Pretikino, Katerinovka, Orakovo-Vasilevka, and Chasov Yar, the Ukrainian side suffered the loss of up to 180 personnel, along with 3 vehicles, a self-propelled artillery unit, and an ammunition depot. The fighting in these areas continues, and our forces remain in a dominant position.
Moving to the center and east, what updates can you provide from those sectors?
The center group of forces executed successful offensives, engaging Jaeger, heavy mechanized, and multiple mechanized brigades of the Ukrainian armed forces. This took place in settlements such as Druzhba, Udaknoy, and Tarasovka. The Ukrainian side lost over 505 servicemen, 5 armored combat vehicles, including a U.S.-made Bradley infantry fighting vehicle, 2 vehicles, and 7 artillery pieces.
And what's the status of the East Group of forces?
Meanwhile, the East Group of forces continued to press into the enemy's defensive depth, defeating Ukrainian tank and mechanized brigades in Berlatsko, Novosilka, and Rivnepil. The Ukrainian side lost 135 servicemen, 2 combat armored vehicles, 3 cars, and 2 field artillery pieces, one of which was a 155mm U.S.-made Paladin self-propelled unit.
Finally, what's the latest from the DNEPR group of forces?
The Dnipro Group of Forces inflicted losses on mountain assault and coastal defense brigades of the Ukrainian armed forces near Sherbaki in the Zaporizhia region, as well as Dniprovsko, Yantarnoy, and Nikolskoye in the Kherson region. Our operations resulted in the loss of 45 Ukrainian personnel, 2 vehicles, and an unmanned boat.
That covers the major battlefronts, but there was also an attempted Ukrainian counteroffensive in the Kursk region. Can you give us details on that engagement?
On the morning of February 6th, Ukrainian forces attempted a counteroffensive in the Kursk region, specifically toward Cherkasskaya, Konopelka, and Ulanok. They deployed up to 2 mechanized battalions on armored vehicles, launching multiple waves of attacks. However, they were identified early by our North Force Group, and with the support of aviation, we inflicted heavy fire damage on their formations. By 1400 hours, all Ukrainian attacks had been repelled, and Russian forces maintained full control over the region. The Ukrainian side lost 6 tanks, 3 obstacle clearance vehicles, 3 infantry fighting vehicles, and 14 armored combat vehicles.
Beyond the frontline combat, what other military actions have taken place in the past 24 hours?
Our operational tactical aviation, missile forces, and artillery have been actively targeting military airfields, drone storage and launch sites, and concentrations of enemy personnel and equipment. In the past 24 hours alone, 142 enemy positions have been hit. Additionally, our air defense systems successfully intercepted 2 French-made Hammer guided aerial bombs, 10 U.S.-made HIMARS rockets, and 106 Ukrainian drones.
What does the overall strategic picture look like? Can you provide a summary of Ukrainian losses since the start of the operation?
Since the beginning of the special military operation, Ukrainian losses have been substantial. We have destroyed aircraft, helicopters, over 42,500 drones, anti-aircraft missile systems, over 21,000 tanks and armored combat vehicles, multiple launch rocket systems, field artillery pieces and mortars, and over 31,000 military vehicles. In the Kursk direction alone, Ukrainian forces have lost over 57,860 servicemen, 337 tanks, 1,759 armored combat vehicles, 409 artillery pieces, and significant amounts of specialized equipment, including HIMARS launchers and electronic warfare systems. The priority remains securing operational objectives, maintaining battlefield superiority, and neutralizing enemy capabilities. Our forces will continue offensive operations where necessary and ensure the sustained degradation of Ukrainian military assets. The destruction of Ukrainian formations in Kursk and other contested regions remains a priority.
Colonel, thank you for providing such a detailed briefing on the current military situation. Your insights are invaluable to our understanding of the conflict's dynamics. And thank you to our listeners for tuning in. Join us next time as we continue to provide up-to-date coverage on global military affairs. Stay with us for more updates and expert analyses on global defense and security issues. Stay informed, stay secure.
Thank you. It's important to keep the public informed. Mr. Trump has reiterated his plan for a U.S. takeover of Gaza, proposing that Palestinians be resettled in the region, while an Israeli minister has instructed the army to prepare for a potential mass exodus of Palestinians from Gaza, despite strong opposition from Palestinian leaders who vow to never leave. Additionally, amid ongoing tensions, Hamas has freed 3 hostages as part of a ceasefire agreement, while Israel has reciprocated by releasing some Palestinian individuals. The situation remains dynamic, with ongoing Israeli ceasefire violations, raising concerns about the stability of the fragile agreements in place.